first. Mr. Bernard Ice, our magistrate, and his wife Sherry this week celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. And Gary, you said you had something you wanted to announce.
On behalf of Fiscal Court, I'd like to express our condolences to Dee and Tom Vernon. Dee is the director of the room at the inn in Nelson County, and they've lost their son this weekend to a tragic accident. Just remember them in our prayers, please.
Okay, thank you. Next order of business will be the minutes. Minutes from the July 16th meeting. Everybody had a chance to review those? Any corrections or changes? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Eric. Second by Jeff. Further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Next will be your bills list and additional bills list.
The pillar project done, paid for, complete?
We cut the check, but I don't know if it's...
Which project?
The cap on the pillars at
Yes.
Woodland.
They look good.
They do look good.
They look really good.
We painted the rest of the fence, I guess, last summer. We need to paint that one little section.
Okay.
Get that rest of
The fence is back up now?
Yeah, the fence is
okay.
back up.
Yeah,
The rest of the pillars are good.
Yeah.
And the shutters, the front of the shutters, they're done too.
Are the
I
shutters
put
done?
those up, I guess, last Saturday.
Did the guy do a pretty good job
Yeah,
with
he did
it?
a very good job. There's some of the stuff like the metal parts and stuff he had to fabricate himself, but he matched it up, was very good.
Well, good. Any other questions on the bills
The
list?
damage claim on SO38 is reimbursed, correct?
Which one you talking about there?
BDM
BDM?
collision?
Yes.
Okay.
That's prior to me.
That was in 2018. Yeah, fall of 2018. That was lingering. Any other questions? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve the bills and additional bills and transfers.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gary, pay the bills and approve the transfers. Is there a second? Second by Bernard Ice. Further discussion? All approved, say aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Next, we have a special demonstration today by the Nelson County EMS. Raymond said he can go later. Yeah. He surrendered the position.
Got the guys here ready. I want to thank the court for allowing us to demonstrate some equipment. And for this demonstration, I think it's very important to see how things are done today. The equipment and the procedures that we use on a cardiac arrest or an unresponsive patient that is found and not breathing. So the call comes into dispatch that just that. We have, my husband is in the yard, been working in the yard, he's collapsed, I can't feel a pulse, get somebody here quick. That's the scenario. So dispatch knocks out the squad, we respond, and dispatcher will give them some instructions on doing CPR while we're en route. So we're saying this patient's in residence in New Hope, for example. So the ambulance is coming, takes forever, minutes or hours in that situation. The crew is now arriving on the scene for this unresponsive, unknown, come right up here, guys.
That made me a little eerie there.
So what we have is an unresponsive, unknown, CPR is in progress. We have 2 people on the truck. They immediately assess the patient, and they ask the folks to continue CPR, do an adequate CPR, and they proceed to assess their patient and establish airway and establish some reasons why this person has collapsed by asking questions, which they would do in normal circumstances. At the same time, they realize that they do not have enough help for this patient. There's 2 of them. So they will request, if we have it available, a second truck response. In this situation, we don't have a truck available. Everything's tied up. So their other option is to maybe ask for a local fire department to come out. So they will take over CPR and have a paramedic and EMT on the truck. While the EMT continues the CPR, the paramedic is going to establish airway and prepare to put a monitor on see just exactly if we have anything that's workable in the cardiac rhythm, or if this patient is in fact deceased and there's nothing more we can do. For our scenario, we do have something workable because CPR was already in progress when we got there. So what you're going to witness here is what equipment we have today that we would use to resuscitate this patient and transport to the hospital. While they're doing that, I'll introduce you. This is Lindsay Fadley, our paramedic, and Brandon Wagner, our EMT. First thing that Lindsay's done is oxygenated the patient by doing the bag valve mask. And the next thing she's going to do is attempt intubation, so she can get a much better secure airway for transport. Now, while she's doing all this, what you've got to remember is, again, there are two people on this truck. They have no help coming. So they've got to, number one, get the patient on the cot, keep the CPR going, get the patient in the truck, and establish IVs, airway, and defibrillate if necessary, if availability is there. She's preparing her ET tube or intubation tube. She will bag the patient, oxygenate the patient rapidly, and prepare for the intubation. As you can see, her partner is not able to help her a lot because he's tied up doing the CPR. So the paramedic is really doing everything she can while he is tied up with CPR. In a lot of cases, Lindsay got this intubation pretty quick. In a lot of cases, this patient will vomit and aspirate, so she'll have stop suction, start all over again. Okay, so we're going to move the patient to the truck, get her monitor, turn her monitor on. But let's just set the monitor up on his legs for now. We wouldn't normally do this, but you're not going to be able to see the monitor. So we have the patient hooked up to the monitor, and the monitor will decide if this heart or this patient has a defibrillating rhythm or it doesn't.
Is that one of the new machines?
No, this is as we do today.
As we do that.
Our next scenario will show you what we want to do tomorrow.
I always get ahead. Always.
I'm getting ready to ask that question.
So we have a shockable rhythm on the monitor. Some of y'all can't see that. Go ahead, shock. You got your airway too. So the monitor will analyze the heart rhythm, and then it will shock the rhythm.
Am I clear?
Shock the heart.
Clear? Shock
We
the
just
rhythm.
shocked the rhythm, first shot. We're in the truck. At some point, you
We'll go ahead and transport you.
okay, so now her partner moves to the driver's seat. She's now in the back by herself doing all this. She's got to continue CPR. She got the monitor. She got to continue the airway. And now we're driving Highway 52. She's got to reach up and grab a hold of the rail to keep from falling down.
I have started my IV before.
The IV would all be deeper.
Here we go.
Now she's holding on one hand CPR, and she's got to bag the patient occasionally. This is today's world, folks. This is what we do today. One person in the back. Okay? Arrive at the hospital. Outcome is green. Okay, we're finished for this scenario.
Okay.
Now, quickly, we're going to get this out and come in with what we want to be tomorrow. With the new, we have the new monitors in that the court bought, and we have some other equipment that's here that is in the budget for us to do as money allows us to do. So we can demonstrate that today to show you where we'll be tomorrow.
This is the scenario with the new monitors that you got,
Right,
right?
coming in.
Yeah, this is the old way, the current
This
way.
is the
This is
old
the way
way.
we would operate. If we got a cardiac arrest today, somewhere, this is how we would handle it.
Joe, can you send that heart monitor stuff to the hospital?
Oh, yeah. This be, when we arrive at Flagler where we're going with this patient, Lindsay would have already transmitted that information from the monitor through internet service we will have in the trucks. Right now, if we have cell site, there's an internet service built into the monitor or a modem to send that. But the doctor can look and see what we've got. Maybe even over the radio, tell Lindsay to do something different if he thinks it's necessary or she. But for the most part, they're just going to be prepared when we arrive.
They've got everything, or quite a bit of information when you arrive at the hospital.
Joe,
I think that's pretty cool.
anything with a person like Keith that has a pacemaker, would any affect any?
Well, we would.
This or the new way?
And his situation, if Keith's pacemaker were to have a problem, or anybody, then the defibrillator will put them in a pace mode and take over for his pacemaker. Now, fortunately, I have Chief Mangley here from Bardstown Fire Department, and in the city of Bardstown, we have additional help through their medical response, so we would have some extra hands. But that's only the city of Bardstown. We deal with the whole county, and a lot of these cardiac arrests are from people that are out into, working in the yard, working on the farm, overdo it, and we're there by ourselves. Okay, Joey? Now, this is where we want to be tomorrow. Same scenario, dispatch tones us out for a unknown, unresponsive, non-breathing patient in Chaplain, your area. Working in the yard, collapsed. Dispatchers again are given CPR instructions. Family is able to comprehend that and provide CPR. So this is going to give that patient a little more time because someone's doing CPR right away. Joey Spalding, Tina Jaggers, arrive on scene. Tina's EMT, Joey's paramedic. This is our new defibrillator that we have taken delivery on. They're going to start the same situation. Difference being, Joey's going to oxygenate, intubate with a video laryngoscope that shows him exactly where the vocal cords are. He doesn't have to move around, do anything different. See if you guys can see what he's going to see. He doesn't have to get down and look down in there. He's looking at the video.
The purpose of that is to get air, is that what that is?
Get a patent airway that is manageable, and then you can breathe that patient.
Gotcha.
That had a camera on?
That has a camera on it. Now he's hooked it up to the resuscitator, so he doesn't have to bag the patient. Our resuscitator is going to do that for him. Give some oxygenate the patient. Again, we have, remember, 2 people. We're in Chaplain. No help, no trucks available to respond to a city. If we have an extra truck, it's always a 2-truck response to any cardiac arrest.
That the EMS station in Bloomfield, is it 24/7 as well? It
So is
is.
New Haven.
So it's staffed 24/7 in New Haven and Chaplain. I knew they had ambulances there, in Bloomfield.
New Haven, Bloomfield, 24/7, if they're able to stay there and not be running.
Right.
But most time at night, it calms down a little bit, and the crews are there, for sure.
How many of these do you have a year, Joe?
What?
Cardiac.
Cardiac arrest.
Oh, Haley, you got a number on that?
Just a
Not
guess.
on those numbers. Several. I'm sure I don't have the exact number.
I mean,
We can run a
50,
report.
100,
Oh, yeah, well over 100, yeah.
well over 100. Really?
In a year.
And some type of cardiac event. They're not all.
Right. I was just wondering how
Cardiac
many case
events that we would
scenarios.
have to intervene.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was once a month or once every 3 months or.
Well, it's like the moon, we have them, and if you have one, you have 3.
Right.
So this is our ventilator. The ventilator is pre-established on what volume and what rate it needs to ventilate this patient. Joe will turn it on, and then it's hands-free for him for the airway. He doesn't have to do like stopping, bagging, or whatever. So now, another very important piece of equipment that is in the budget that we will get when we have the funds to do, but it's next day equipment, next year equipment that is made to take us from the manual, unsafe environment of doing CPR to a mechanical way of doing CPR.
They put a board underneath that.
Or it goes underneath. Most of the time, this is done at the residence. We would not wait to get an ambulance to do this. So this would all be done, and probably maybe a family member can help assist a little bit. But pretty much, you got these two folks trying to do this in a rapid rate to get this patient transported.
This is the
Is this relatively new technology still for this thing?
No, this has been around for a while. It's, this technology is more in the urban, big, run volume agencies. It's a little bit longer getting out.
By the way, that's a Stryker equipment? On the side there it says Stryker?
Right.
Yeah.
The Stryker cot, Stryker also, and we just so happen to have the representative here, Andrea. Andrea is our representative for
The
years.
reason I say that, there was an article in the paper the other day about the top richest families in the United States and Stryker families right there with them.
Really?
It was.
Stryker's the biggest medical device company in the United States. We do most of our stuff in the hospital.
They're big. Attorneys.
So you just freed up a set of hands by that coming in?
Actually, two sets, really, yeah.
Now, the paramedic, in this case Joey, will be pushing cardiac drugs to the IV. He'll be able to reassess his patient more often, and he can be safe in the ambulance as well, because he's not trying to hold on to one.
Well, we didn't push that hard on
That thing was pretty hard, it was, man, that's what I thought.
It made it the next day, yes, sir.
Joe, the question is, will it tell if it's a juvenile?
Yeah, it has.
Like, for example,
Pediatric, we have
3 years
pediatric.
ago, the drowning Joe's crew did a fabulous job that the little girl made it. I think that would have helped because it was me, Joe, and the driver going from Abbey Ridge to Flagey.
What now, Joey has stopped this so he can do analyze the rhythm, what rhythm the heart may or may not have with the monitor. If it's a shockable rhythm, then he will shock the heart, and then this will restart the CPR.
Suppose this is an 85-year-old person, and you wouldn't be doing it that hard, would it?
No, it will adjust.
It'll regulate, okay.
You still gotta get 2 inches depth though on that patient.
Yeah.
You gotta make that
The
depth.
alternate is not good. The alternate's not good. I'll be sore.
Yeah, I'll take
Andrew, you want to make any comments about the Lucas for the court? Or are we doing pretty good there for you?
Yeah, so the American Heart Association has established what's defined as high-quality CPR, and there's basically 6 characteristics of it. The most important one is minimizing pauses. So as you guys can see, and what happens with the heart is when they stop chest compressions, think about it like an old-time water pump. You know, you got to prime the pump to be able to get the blood flow throughout the brain and throughout the body. So every time they have to stop with the compressions, you lose that priming and you're losing blood flow to the brain. That's where Lucas becomes really important because it can stay on the body throughout all these transitions. So when they move the patient from, you know, the yard to the cot, they're not having to stop and take 2 people to move that patient. Lucas can stay on the patient and do those compressions throughout the entire call. And we know the data shows that the time on the chest is what increases the likelihood for getting ROSC. With the patient. So that's where Lucas really becomes an asset to these guys, especially when there's only 2 people on the ambulance available. It essentially is doing that manual CPR exactly to what the AHA guidelines are, and frees them up to do other qualities of care like intubating the patient, getting IVs started, all the other things that are involved in a cardiac arrest.
Speaking from experience, I worked in EMS with Joe Neva. I was thrown all over the back of that ambulance with CPR years ago. This equipment is essential to get the most effective CPR. Even doing CPR in back of the ambulance, one person, you get so tired, you're not getting the depth. And this guarantees the depth of CPR. Yeah.
Any
Well,
other
John,
questions?
yeah, if he's laying in the field, fell off the tractor, would you take that CPR thing out in the field? You wouldn't wait to put him on the striker, you could go on and start it, and then you bring the striker out there and pick him up.
Even before airway management, we would get the CPR.
Get the heart.
Yeah, we want to be pumping. That's why in today's world, the teaching is don't worry about breathing a patient. But everybody has a stigma about mouth to mouth and that kind of thing for the layperson. And so don't worry about that, just pump the heart.
Now, what's the purpose of having the strap for the arm up high like that?
It keeps your arms up, out of the way, secure, so when you're moving the patient, it's all together.
I got you. Very good.
Great
That's
equipment.
nice work.
So, again, this was yesterday. The first scenario was yesterday. This is modern technology for today. Takes all the guesswork from the medic, or most of the guesswork out of it. And it's a quicker. You don't get digging around and you gotta get down on the floor. Most cases, these people are flat on. We've got the patient up here convenient. Most cases, they're flat on the floor and the medics, EMTs are down working this patient on their level. So this allows the medic to
That would be
be up.
good on a choking
Yeah,
patient too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it leaves how it's
I was
designed.
at a function about 3 years ago, and the EMTs had to come, and this guy was getting ready to croak. And there was a doctor in our meeting, and he could not get it out. He did everything he could to physically get it out. But the people, your EMTs were there, paramedics were there, and in a matter of 10 seconds, they pulled that piece of steak out with them big tongs going down there. That's pretty cool. But that would make it better.
Are you guys gonna hang around for when we go over this blacktop list?
We could. But
You better get out of there while you say it.
the main point that I want, and I'm glad Judge for giving us a little time to do this, but I think it brings it home a little bit, what the staff is dealing with and what we can do for our citizens that we haven't been able to do in the past. And fortunately, this fiscal court is forward-thinking, and along with the donation we got from the estate is making this possible for us.
Remember that, Mr. Briggs?
Excellent deal. I'm glad you're staying ahead of it, really.
Excellent job. Good job.
I just don't know why they couldn't have been there about 5 years ago when I was working.
I wish I'd been here when I first started. I'm back, they did a whole lot better.
Well, I bet that wears you all the way back too, though, right? Oh, God, that's not working. And you're nervous anyway. Yeah, that's my slide, Jerry. Even though.
Didn't sit in on it real quick. Well, I've got some of the staff here. I want to introduce them real quick to the court. Some of the finest medics and EMTs that you'll find. Tina Jaggers, Joey Spalding, paramedic, Tina Jaggers, EMT advanced, or EMT basic. Lindsay, paramedic. Brendan Wagner, EMT basic. Jared Goss, EMT basic. And our Spanish-speaking Marlene Johnson, EMT basic. Great folks.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's out.
It's some good equipment there.
Okay, let's move on then to start the regular agenda items. Item number 1 is the 2019 tax rate. You guys have copies of all the information that I've done in the past few weeks. It is my recommendation to take the 14, actually lower the tax rate to 14.2. Currently, the tax rate is 14.3. And advertise for a public hearing to get the revenue increase that we need to continue to move forward. This gives us an increase, but yet it allows us to lower the tax rate by 1/10 of a penny. The court had time to review that, hopefully.
I'll make that motion.
Well, the motion would be to advertise for 2 public hearings as
Okay.
required.
I'll make the motion to advertise.
I'll second it.
Second, now discussion. You've had it a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, so
Anytime you can lower a tax rate and increase your revenue is a good thing.
we'll continue growth.
Agree with Gary.
This is just simply for the public hearing.
For the public hearing,
Not
yeah,
even talking.
not for the ordinance itself. Any other discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Now, we need to set the date for that. The advertisements we'll take care of. Rhonda and I will take care of that. It'd have to be either Wednesday, a special meeting, the 21st, or Thursday, the 22nd.
Of August.
Yeah, 21st is the best date for us in it.
Yes.
Of August, yes, at 8:30. If you would do that.
Wednesday, the
21st.
They can't make it.
I don't need but 3 of you here, so if you can't make it, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Okay.
Just remind us.
Don't worry.
8:30.
So we will set that 21st at 8:30. Okay? Anything else, Matthew? Okay, thank you. Hey, media, I think you've got copies of that in your mailbox. I think it's been there for a couple of weeks. Yeah, but if you need anything, let me know. Yeah, that was a best case scenario there.
Absolutely.
Judge, does that tax rate represent a 4% increase?
I knew you was going to ask that. Yes,
Okay,
but
just checking.
but it also allows the each individuals to go down just a hair.
Right.
It's a perfect setting. I don't know if I've ever had that kind of a setting in 25 years. Next order of business would be just to let you know about the personnel ordinance. You guys, I believe somewhere along the line you received a copy of that. Go through it if you don't mind for the next couple of weeks. Our personnel committee has met on a couple of occasions. Our staff as well, and made some. We've highlighted the proposed changes. So let us know, because next court meeting, hopefully, we can do a first reading.
Anything in there that sticks out that you need to look at?
Things that we have changed, a few corrections. We've gone and asked the court to approve, instead of a 6-month or year for 1 year for your vacation and sick, drop it down to 90 days. Trying to track employees. If you're trying to track employees already working somewhere and they've got 2 weeks vacation, and you're trying to get those folks to come to work for you, and they've got to give up 2 or 3 weeks vacation, it's not as likely to be attracted. A lot of big companies have started doing that at the corporate level. What else, Rhonda, do you remember?
I noticed you added constitutional officer.
That way the jailer, the sheriff, and the clerk can follow our policy, but they do the administration of that policy. That's what we talked about. Doesn't mean you have to, but it allows you to.
Did some cleanup of our drug testing policy.
I read that.
How we apply that.
Trying to think,
Increase the boot allowance.
a boot allowance goes to $100. Yeah, just small things that just need to be updated. I thought it was all very. This came from
Yeah, I didn't
employees
see
as
that.
well. But look at it, make some, if you see any other changes in there. We are reviewing a social media policy for our employees while they're here at work. We can't control them outside of work, but we are reviewing one. I've got 3 from 3 different counties. I'm not so sure how deep we want to get to that point, but once we get something together, I'll share that with you. And most counties have incorporated that in their personnel policy. Okay? Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Other questions? You've got the highlights so that it shows the changes. The next would be the Planning Commission year-end report. This is a 1-page report. I want especially to go over this a little bit because we've got 2 new magistrates here to let you know. The first part of it is the expense part. It talks about the space allocation and personnel, fringe benefits. Fiscal Court pays the personnel cost and the fringe benefit cost, and then the Planning Commission during the year has their own checking account, their own money, and whatever expenses are left over or are going to be carried forward, they turn over to Fiscal Court. You keep a balance about how much, Jan, in your operating account?
Carry over about 30,000.
About 30,000
For operating.
paid postage and bills and lawyers' fees and stuff that they need outside of what we pay. So at the end of the year, they reimburse back to the Fiscal Court $56,946 this year.
That goes back to the court.
Back to the court. And if you'll notice on your page here that we have paid expenses all along up to, including payroll, almost $175,000. So we're responsible for 68.9% of the expense. Bardstown's 26.9, Bloomfield's 1.9, New Haven 2.0. That's based on population.
And that will change next year. It changes with the census.
Yeah.
That'll change
Well,
when they
you
do
probably won't
the
get that to
census.
21 anyway, because the 20, you'll spend the whole year, yeah. You'll spend the whole year doing the census. You got any questions?
I just want to say, and I'm pretty sure you've probably been petitioned as well by a couple of the Board Adjustment members about finding some more space for them guys on the planning
Yes,
commission.
yeah.
Okay, but it was proposed to me about some area that we may have over next to the Senior Citizen Center.
All that, I mean, you would have to spend $250,000, $350,000.
You think?
It's just a basic.
It's just a square, nothing in it.
Nothing there.
Yeah, but it's like maybe 6,000, probably over.
There's about 13,000 square feet.
About
left.
13,000 square feet.
Tell you what, one day I'll take you over. and I'll show you.
I've looked at it. I've had a guy ask me to go look at it, and I looked at it. I can't see that it would cost that much money.
You want to see it?
How many square feet do they want, do you know?
Well, I mean, you know, Jan and them, they're operating in a corner over there. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to think about maybe putting engineering, and with that much room, you could have an engineering spot in there. You could have code enforcement and planning and zoning in a pretty easily accessible location. I just thought it might be
This
that.
is just me shooting from the hip, real quick. Assume $100 a square foot.
At
There's
least.
no HVAC, there's no plumbing.
No electric.
Well, the
I'm just shooting.
electric's there.
Nah.
Nuh-uh.
We should go look at it. one
It's
day.
on the building, but it's.
Electric has, I don't mind looking at it, I really don't.
Yeah.
We just need a good plan. And
Yeah.
my only suggestion to that, and I've had some discussions with a few of you, usually Lee and I are the ones who, by the time they come to code enforcement, by the time they go to Logan's office, they're real good and mad by the time they come down.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Of the runaround that they feel they get.
Yeah.
So just keep that in your mind.
But they just go to one building to get
Right.
most of it done.
So there's usually about a 2-minute talk them off the ledge session. And I totally understand what they're talking about.
I know what
Just
you mean.
if you
I
start
know.
considering that, just take that into account of what you do. I totally agree with planning and zoning's to the gills over there.
Yeah.
Jan did a pretty good job of getting us a little extra room.
Yeah, I work all day Saturday trying to pick up files, but they're now on top of the filing cabinets. so
There's
they're
no
not-
doubt that.
You got them off the floor.
There's no
I
doubt
could
that
have had a
planning
workers' comp
commission
claim
has grown.
Saturday, but yeah, everything's up off the floor now and.
As the county's grown, the planning commission's grown, Logan's office has grown because of need.
Well,
Well, I
part of
mean-
our problem, land use records are permanent records, so they can't be disposed of. Logan's office can dispose of records after 5 years. Plans, we can't do that. All of our land use records are permanent. We are scanning, but we've got 50 years
I'm
of
not
records
opposed
we're
to that.
scanning.
Well, I mean, also, I mean, if you think about it, if you got 13,000 square feet, you could lease some of that out in there, possibly, maybe. There'd be some issues involved with that. I'm just thinking about.
I
way
promise
forward,
you,
really.
you will spend $500,000 getting that building in shape, minimum.
Maybe
for
more than
planning.
that.
How much we spend on senior citizens?
And then you're
Spend
just-
quite a bit.
Citizens as a, the
I know,
original
but
deal
most
was
of your money
like,
goes into the outside of the structure.
900,000,
When you go on
and then we changed the roof
I mean,
system.
well,
That's
You
it.
you got your concrete, you know.
Heating there and all that, it's pretty serious money.
It wouldn't
I
hurt
gotta
to
cut all the
get maybe
concrete
some.
out, get the sewer.
What you would do, if you were going to do something like that, you would have the flow control, have a professionally out the flow from the planning commission to code enforcement.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, to do it the right way.
Right,
I'm not
design
opposed to that
correct.
idea.
Okay.
I wouldn't look at it.
I just, this coming up and then sending back.
I don't know how you're gonna pay for it, but, you know.
But we're, you know,
Like
you deal with
anything
health,
else.
we deal with health departments, you're never gonna get us all in one space. I mean, we deal with the health department,
Yeah.
we're dealing with city engineering, state entrance permits, so, you know, like Brad said, I mean, we're the gatekeepers, you can't get a zoning permit until you get everybody else's stuff. If I just did our own permit, it'd be 5 minutes, and they'd be in and out the door. We're the ones that are saying, well, you gotta have this, you gotta have this, and we won't do our permit until you have it. So that's why they're falling off the ledge when they leave our office, is because we've given them that checklist that you can't do ours until you do everybody else's.
And that gives them a few minutes from leaving your office to get down to Brad's office, if you got them all underneath one roof.
Yeah, well, they'll probably stop by the judge's office before they even go that direction.
No, they stop there first.
They stop there
They stop
first.
there first.
Yeah. Wonder if they can get some edge.
Yeah, just tossing around some ideas to try to, you know, make it more efficient for the taxpayer, you know, make it
It's pretty efficient, pretty efficient.
It's efficient, no, don't get me wrong, it's operating, you're not.
Yeah, Jan,
cutting much out of it.
Jan, the last 10 years has run an office that a lot of offices should look at. Because she has put her staff, the amount of workload. You don't think.
It's unreal.
You don't see all the rezonings come, we don't see it. You know how many people stop there a day
I can imagine.
just to ask, what about it, what about? Can I do this, can we do that? I mean, I'm talking about, I've tried to get over there a couple of times this year in the last couple of weeks, it's been a line. It's amazing how many people are thinking about doing things, but it is more than you see.
You're right.
No doubt.
Jan, how many people you got over there now? On a day to
Same
day?
number, you mean at my staff or?
Yeah, just staff.
I have 3 full-time staff and, right now I'm down to 1 part-time person.
So there's 5 people in that little office or sometimes?
There's 3 full-time and then occasionally part-time, but when we have a part-time person in, we send Alicia out on inspections because we don't have enough desks. So we could have 5, but, you know, Cindy, we did have an issue where somebody, a staff person fell over something, and it's just, we're compact.
So there's an issue there, am I correct, and more room? with-
Well, and I mean, I could use anywhere from 5 to 6 more filing cabinets. I mean, they're full. They're full. And so we're working as fast as we can to get stuff scanned in, but the problem will be that we
Building
still have
grounds.
to store that, those
Are you
filing,
on
there's
that?
31
You are.
filing cabinets.
You are, I think you put them in the area, I think. I'll check. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No problem.
I didn't mean to.
No, I've heard it from more than one person.
I did, that just brought it back up to me, and I thought, well, heck, they're getting $50,000 back, you know.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
think
but
it's-
that's just less that we have to pay, and the cities have to pay.
Right.
You understand? We're still paying.
Right,
You know, it's not a self-sufficient
right.
revenue.
Right. The fees itself don't
pay.
pay it.
No, but we talked about doing that one time, and you talking about mad. When they lived that off, they would really be mad if we
amount of-
fully funded the amount of fees.
Yeah, we're running at about 70-30 split right now.
70/30, 70% taxes, 30%.
General fund for the city county is 30%.
Only because of 30%, 70% taxes.
Do you ever send somebody down there that makes sure that
Other areas?
Well, I think it'd be outstanding. I think it's very ideal. I mean, they need more space, but like
It's gonna
Bill
be a
says.
couple years. It
Well,
won't
I
happen
think you should at
overnight.
least do a study on how much it would cost. I mean, that can't be too,
Well, you know,
You're gonna have to add sewer,
you
water,
have
all
to have
that.
sewer, water.
it's all there, man.
Oh, we had to run new lines with
We
this.
get run new lines on that concrete.
Clay, I mean, that building was built in 1969, 70, 71.
But didn't they revamp the outside of it?
We did.
Infrastructure, we
Right,
did.
you guys just-
We're gonna run through the same problem that the sheriff's office and the Marshtown Police Department had, where the sewer backed up and they're putting money into it and money into it over time.
Yeah. But a lot of that was the contractor on the city side. I'm not gonna say anything.
Under the budget.
Thank you. Any other questions on this? Okay, we'll move on. Good point, Eric. Your
Just trying to make-
constituent, appointed constituent.
I'm working at it.
Yes, the newness of the world.
Landfill solid waste report. John, you want to talk about engineering services for landfill force main?
Yeah, we'll start off with a quick update on where we are in expansion. So
Okay.
basically, we have a current landfill, 30 acres, working on design of another 40 acres. So right now, we do about an acre a year. I'll give you one second. So with this new expansion, it'll be another 40 years. Basically, we have about 8 years where we're at. So first, before,
How many years now?
8 years.
we have about,
Make sure that goes in the record.
but we want to get started before that. So basically, once you get towards the top, it's harder to back semis in. So basically, we want to get started before that in the next maybe 3 years. So basically with that, if you look at, I'd like to start on phase 8 and 9. So that's going to give us roughly 10 acres, so another 10 years of use. So before we actually get into this expansion, we got infrastructure improvements we need to make before that. So basically, right now, we send our leachate, which is basically all the water that infiltrates through the landfill. We send that to the city of Bardstown treatment plant. So basically, we need, that line is, 30, 25 years old?
25 or 26 years old now.
25.
So.
It's got a lot of 90s.
We built it.
A lot of 90s, it goes deep under the road. So basically, before we get into having a lot more leachate, we want to do some infrastructure improvements first. So basically, we want to design a new sewer line basically to the treatment plant. So.
From the landfill.
From the landfill.
We've got one in the ground right now, and obviously as it continues to grow, you're gonna need continued space.
And we need a professional that can focus on it and tell us the best option for that area on how to get our leachate
So
to point A, point B.
what we're asking the court today to do is authorize us to send out requests for proposals, I believe you call it, to the various engineering firms that we've done business with over the years and advertise it.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Bernard Ice, is there a second? Second by Eric. Discussion?
Question. I guess in this, whatever you're gonna do, the line may need to be a 12-inch line? You're gonna
That's what this person will tell us.
listen to them? and-
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have an idea, but I want them to come back to us and tell us what.
I'm just thinking in the future, because this landfill hopefully is gonna be here for the next,
40 years, what'd you say?
yeah,
50 years.
yeah, next 50 or 60, 100, like the judge said. We might as well keep that in mind, to size that line.
I'm not opposed to, you guys know, we can probably lay 2 lines in the same trench pretty cost effectively. And just go and put 2 lines side by side. So when one wears out, flip over to the other. Don't know, but look at those costs, see what's associated with it. So just all ideas, we need somebody
Well, that might be a
outside
good
of
idea
us.
there, instead of putting one big 12 in, it clogs up, then you're out of commission.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of variables to look at. I guess basically, we're just tying into another existing infrastructure, tied into other force mains with the city, and how much exactly leachate we're gonna have with expansion. So there's just a lot of variables to look at.
Can we follow the same right of way we got now? or no?
All that needs to be looked at.
We're looking at that, we're looking at alternate routes too.
Go cross-country.
The engineering firm can explore like potential collaboration with other entities that might be
Yes,
interested.
so that's what we're looking at too. If we get anybody else in the area that wants to team up with us to help. And that's other factors too, what size line, and how many people team up with us. There's just a lot of variables to look at.
Where's sewer plant at?
Any other questions, discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry.
Just to give you an idea, so basically there's 3 phases of design, notice of intent, administrative application, technical application. I got the second of the 3 phases done, and basically it's about 900 and something pages to get wrapped up. So I got that turned in July, so that was good to get wrapped up working on the technical application, which is basically your final design and plans and operating procedures.
Why does it need to be that complicated, John?
You just have a lot of permitting, like archaeological sites, make sure there's not any bats in the area. And one of the biggest thing is, a lot of this, you gotta have, it's kind of like, when you build your landfill, it's kind of like a dam. You want low permeability clay. You want to make sure you gotta do a lot of soil sampling to make sure you have the right dirt, that you gotta have the right permeability, so if something does leak out, that doesn't penetrate through your dirt to get in the groundwater. So there's a lot of stuff to deal with.
You can tell?
Yep. One last thing, I know we've talked in previous, probably the last year, we got tippers for all our garbage trucks that we use every day. So basically, we have one spare truck that does not have a tipper. I'd like to get approval to go on and purchase one of those. We spent roughly, I think, around $8,500 when we send it off to municipal to do it, but our mechanics, they're gonna try to do that. It's gonna be about $4,600 to do that.
Are they replacing, can you take them from one truck to another truck?
You probably could.
Or by that time they'd be wore out too?
Looks at them,
I don't know.
they're well used.
They're well used.
You know, the tipper that picks up the garbage cans that does that?
I was in South Carolina last week. I think I went to Toll Ranches, of course. They've got an articulating with a little arm off of it. Those plastic 55-gallon barrels is what they got all up and down that beach. About 6 o'clock in the morning, this guy starts. He goes in there and that little articulating thing, picks that barrel up, boom. I mean, that barrel will probably last for a long, long time, you know. It's unreal how fast he can go down the
Yep.
beach and
One
dump them
person
barrels.
gets
and
out of the
have
truck,
fun.
right?
One person
The key to
never
that-
gets out of the truck.
The
Yes,
key to
yes.
that, it doesn't work very well
With squirt.
on Coon Hollow.
Oh, I agree.
Hillsides and all.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just thinking about the tipper arm of it.
We thought
That-
of it, we
That's
thought
right.
of it to just go to that and have an entire route of subdivisions.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's off the table.
We've
That's-
discussed that.
That's all discussion. You gotta have a certain type of can. Do you charge a guy for it or not? Do we provide the can?
Well, I can buy them barrels for $4.
It's kind of what Waste Management,
About $100.
they got one man on a truck, and, but they're working,
No, that guy gets out and does it all.
he does get out and do it all. He does.
Those trucks,
In front of Logan City's got that.
those trucks are around 320 for the side on them.
But you save that
We'll pay
labor,
about 360
you save that
right now,
labor
so-
over about 10 years.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And backs.
And bikes.
Yeah.
We have looked at it.
We can talk about that next board meeting if you want to buy us a new truck.
So,
You don't need a motion to buy the tipper, do you?
Well, it really wouldn't hurt because, you know, he says $4,400, $4,800. By the time we get everything to go with it, it'll be 5,000 you can count on.
So that's for the new tipper, that's
It's a new
5,000?
tipper.
5,000?
I would ask for a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve that.
I'll
Made by
make-
Jeff, second
I'll
by
second.
Eric. Any further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Okay, EMS report. Anything else, Bill?
Just a monthly report for July. You have that report in the packet, I believe. 596 calls were responded to. You know, that 104 were non-transport. 14 of those were lift assist only, and that seems to be a growing trend for us. And those runs are up over the past 5 years, so looks like we're
How many of them?
14 lift assist.
Lift assist, that means that they fell down on the floor or something?
Yeah.
They get charged the same
Yeah,
amount.
Mainly in your area that we're doing on a regular basis now.
Do they get charged the same amount as that, just a regular call?
You know, the ordinance says we charge $150,
$150.
and rarely do we collect that, but it's a deterrent, not a very good deterrent.
Anything else, Doug?
That's it.
Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Joe, I would really like to thank you and your staff for putting on such a good demonstration this morning. I think it was a very eye-opener to me and probably everybody in this courtroom. Thank you for doing that.
Okay. Ray, I'm not gonna go ahead and call you, I'm not gonna put you all the way to the last.
Okay. So last week, we started to look at the purchasing items to equip the Ford Explorers. Came to our attention that Ford stopped production on the Ford Explorer, and they are not making any right now. They got a glitch or for whatever reason. Right now, they are not making any Explorers. We've made phone calls to Conway Heaton, and this is not a Conway Heaton deal. This is Ford at their plant. So we started making some phone calls when, and they cannot give us an answer. So I talked to the judge, and I did a heavy study on the different vehicles that were on the table. The Ford Explorer, the highest, is the 3.0 EcoBoost at $36,000. The Explorers that we ordered were at $33,000. The Chevy Tahoes were at $37,000, we are $500 more than the most expensive Explorer, the EcoBoost. The Secret Service Tahoe is $36,928. The Durangos, which Joe already stated that they're not durable, they're gonna break down. Matter of fact, the sheriff from Marion County stopped by the office yesterday, and he said he will not buy another Dodge as long as he's the sheriff in Marion County. So I did a plan A, plan B, C and D for the court to decide. And I had told the judge that I could save some money if we purchase, right now, some Chevy Tahoes, which are for like the detectives package that we have purchased already, which are 2. And on each vehicle, we're saving a little bit over $5,000.
How many detectives do you have now?
Right now, we have 3.
3.
And then
So you
the
put
one
a guy on the
for
street to become a detective?
Yes, sir. So, originally, we had 1, and that's what the original plan was, to order that Chevy Tahoe for him. Since then, we've added another detective, and by the way, they are kicking butt, you know, and it's been noticed all the way in Chaplin to New Haven, all across the county. To even get compliments from some of the judges on certain things that they have worked on, threats to the judges that they have done. So Plan A is the original plan of keeping the 6 Explorers and 1 Chevy Tahoe. Again, we don't know when that's going to be delivered.
Randy, I do have an update on that.
Okay.
If you allow me.
Go ahead.
I did talk to Nicholas Eaton yesterday, afternoon late, and Nicholas said the Explorers are in the system for manufacture on September 1. The model that was stopped by Ford was not the model that we ordered. There was a different, like a special SS or whatever they call them, what they call it. So they're scheduled to be made on September the 1st. Delivery sometime in October. And that's what he told me. He said, I see no reason why they won't be delivered in October.
Have we already put in a purchase order for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we have.
How would you get on?
So I'm thinking some of the information that was shared with you from some of your deputies somewhere along the line.
It's not the deputies, it's coming from Conway Eaton.
But I talked to Nick who ordered them, he checked on them, he said they were still in the pipeline to be delivered in October.
They're in the pipeline, but they're not in the process of, they don't even have VIN numbers for them. So how are they going to tell us that they are?
I'm just telling you what Nicholas Heaton told me.
I'm telling you, the other day they had a meeting. The largest dealer in California can't even get them. So how is Conway Heaton going to get them September 1st and delivered by October? We're being backed over. Ford messed up by taking out the Crown Vic years ago, and they put everybody else in business. I'm just looking to save some money. I found it, and the numbers are there.
But you're buying a Tahoe that is not a police package. It's a
It
secret
is a
service
police
package.
package. It's a secret service
And it's
package.
got carpeting in it. It's
Yes.
got- And it's
And
got,
it's
et
going
cetera, et
for-
cetera, that the durability is just not there. What happens the first time somebody gets sick in the back of that Tahoe?
They're not for prisoners. They're not, we're not putting.
Well, why do
those
they
in
need a
there.
Tahoe then if they're not gonna be for prisoners and all they're gonna pack is a detective?
Because they got a lot of equipment to carry when they go to a crime scene.
How many of those Explorers did we order? It's like
6.
7.
7?
6.
6 Explorers and the 7th is the
So
Tahoe.
we had 1 detective and now we have 2 detectives?
Yes.
We got 3.
We got 3. One already has a Chevy Tahoe.
But, so what Raymond's wanting to do is substitute the Explorers that we've already ordered and go ahead and get 3 Tahoes, I think is what you said.
Correct.
The figure looks like it's almost $4,000 more expensive to get
It
that.
is, but when I'm putting equipment that I don't have to put on detectives' vehicles, I don't have to put a cage, I don't have to put a console, I don't have to put, I mean, the estimates are there, guys.
Why would you have to put, if you don't have to put the cage in the Tahoe, then why do you have to put it in the Explorer?
So the
Leave it out
detective
before.
doesn't take anybody into custody?
Mostly
They
not.
do, but a lot of the times, the road guys will transport to, because they still have to process the scene.
Tahoe's got V8s on that.
Yes.
How big? The 5 liter?
We haven't had any complaints on the 2 Tahoes that we have. I've had it for over 8 months, actually 10 months, and I have 10,000 miles on mine. You know, it's fairly new.
You're thinking about the maintenance, aren't you?
The
fuel.
Fuel and the tire.
fuel, I'll tell you this, and I knew that was gonna come up. I'm getting better gas mileage on the Chevy Tahoe than we're getting on the Explorers right now. Right now, we're getting about 15.7 to the 13.7 on the Explorer.
Probably don't idle around very much, do you?
No. And you gotta understand, this is 2 different avenues. On a detective that comes to work, shows up on a scene, all they're gonna do is pop their hatch, get the stuff that they need. On all the, if you guys look at the first page, computer equipment, that is the stuff that John Snow used to order. The bracket mount for the inside, the computer. The detectives are not using that, they're using iPads for the durability and capability of using for pictures and things like that on a crime scene. I don't have to buy them any of that stuff, they already got it. All 3 detectives are equipped with what they need. So that's why you see a 0 in that line item compared to the other explorers.
I'm trying to figure out what you're proposing right now.
So I'm proposing to,
7 of them?
no.
Okay.
Plan B would be to purchase 3 Secret Service Tahoes and then continue with the 4 Explorers, knowing that Ford is going to deliver by December.
December ain't very far off.
No, sir, but they can't, right now, that's what I'm saying. What you guys gotta understand is, my budget ends at December. When December 31st hits, I gotta turn the money over to you guys.
I understand. I've been on the court 8 years, I ain't never loaned the sheriff's department no money yet. 8 years I've been there.
We've advanced the money that paid us back.
You've gotten money from the sheriff's.
Oh, yeah,
every
we've
year.
got a return, yeah.
So what I'm asking is, so we can purchase the vehicles now, front the money. And in November, when I get the tax revenue coming into the sheriff's office, we can pay those off.
You got budgeted 2 vehicles, don't you?
Right.
I wouldn't have any problem with the purchase, and I told Raymond I'd go to bat for him on this. One Tahoe for the detective, new detective, and that's fair enough. But I'm not, as far as, I'd like to get a little more information on the Explorers in writing. You know, everything I've been told now has been verbally, from not just your staff, but from Conway Heaton. I'd like to get something in writing from them.
You think it'll be hard to do or no?
No, I just
Just
called
ask one.
yesterday afternoon, I got a positive
Maybe at the next
response.
meeting you-
Yeah, they're trying to sell vehicles, but
Right.
I've never had a problem with.
Car sales.
What about, where do you have to take your Tahoes to get them maintained?
We take them up to, it used to be Quick Care, they closed, and then got a new person, and we're going to Bourbon Trail Motors.
What about, as far as like,
Warranty work, they go to
work?
Don
Chevy dealer, Franklin,
Any Chevy, yeah.
any Chevy dealer will service them.
Why wouldn't you entertain them to get your Tahoes in?
They're not in the commercial business.
They don't want the business.
Oh.
Yeah. I've tried to get them to bid before.
I'm just curious.
I've tried to get them to bid
Yeah,
before.
yeah, just thinking about that.
Raymond, on the 3 Tahoes, you purchased 2, you want 3 more, okay? Where's all the 2 detectives have them now, correct, or 1?
One has an
He's got one.
Explorer,
You
the
have
other
one.
one. So our goal is to get the detective vehicle that was purchased by the former sheriff and hand it over to the EMS so they can utilize it as medic 2 or use it for training, transport. back
Which
and
one are you
forth.
talking about?
It's a Ford
Oh,
Escort, Escape. It's a.
So you'll have a total of 5 Tahoes, if this,
Correct.
okay, who gets those?
It
2
would
detectives,
be
you,
The 3 detectives,
3.
okay, myself and the captain. I would take Dickie Jones's Explorer, which is equipped right now, put it into the road deputies and the one that the detective has and put it on right
How
now.
many miles does Captain Jones have?
Under 100, it's probably got 60, 70,000 miles on it.
Have we always had 3 detectives?
No, we've had 2.
What?
We had 3.
What about Joe?
Under 8, we had Jon Snow, Jody, and.
But you rotated off though, didn't you? Didn't you rotate off?
We had 3 for one. We had Kaminsky, me, and Snow, and then we had Ferry, me, and Snow.
Okay.
When I took office, I downgraded to 2 detectives.
I thought when one left the detective, then went back on the street.
Yes,
Yeah, so at any given time, you had 2 or 3, depends on the
Correct.
position, yeah.
And you're driving an Explorer?
he's driving his old pickup truck.
But currently, the sheriff's department has over 30 vehicles in the fleet,
Correct.
various vehicles. And you have how many actual patrol officers? 21?
19 to.
We have 17 on our payroll.
Right. But they're not all road deputies. You got some that are on the command staff.
Yeah, okay. Court, you just got this last night, and I'm sure your calls, whether, you know, I'm.
A lot of numbers here I'd like to look at.
I
So,
would too, Jim.
if you guys look at it, the bids are on there for each individual vehicle. I'm not budging any numbers. I can save from packet one, from plan 1A, which is what we have now, the 6 Explorer, the 1 Tahoe, to plan B, the 3 Tahoes, Ford Explorers, we're saving around $20,000.
Yeah, but you're
Actually,
spending $4,000.
$11,000.
You're spending $4,000 more per vehicle, right?
But he's taking,
Just on the
into
vehicle.
consideration, though, that the equipment, the detectives don't get near the equipment that the other.
So my question to you is this, Keith. I do a line item budget, and it's $45,000. Why am I doing that if I'm under the budget of the $45,000?
Well, you know, taxpayers just put every one of us where we're at.
I'm saving you money.
He has a right to buy what he wants to within his budget as a constitutional officer. I just want to make that clear.
Do you have to bid that,
But-
or you're just allowed
He
to buy?
can go off state price contract if he wants, chooses to do so, and it's what he's proposing doing. But fiscal court, as a different entity, we advertise, we go through the process, because we try to do business locally if we can, too. So I think that's an important
I like
element.
for our fleet to stay with the Ford Explorer. I want you to get that across.
Oh, I thought you were proposing to take all 7 off the table and buy all.
No, sir, that's the last package deal, if they can't deliver any Ford Explorers. I've come up with Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D.
For the media, just remember the media, last year Ford did not build any of these Explorers, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. They did not build, they were changing models. So it kind of threw everybody in a little shortage maybe. But-
So,
but-
and last year, they didn't make it. They were revamping the 2019 Ford Explorer, and
They didn't make a Explorer at all, and a police
zero
package.
police package, zero. They did not
Zero
make
police
that.
package.
That's why we are, and by the way, so the court knows, I'm down 2 vehicles that were crashed and totaled out and paid to fiscal court for those 2. So I'm down 2 vehicles replaced by 1. That's where the 7th vehicle comes into play. Then I'm down fiscal court's 2 vehicles from last year that we did not purchase.
But we're not required to purchase them every year either. I went a time here when times were tough on fiscal court, we went 2 or 3 years without buying a vehicle.
That's correct.
And it got us a little bit behind, but we caught back up. My recommendation to the court would be to go ahead and allow advance enough money to buy the 1 Tahoe for the detective. And I gave him my word, I told him I would support that idea and let you guys think about the other 2 that he's asking for.
So you're saying go with Plan A?
I don't know.
That's what we were, I emailed, the original,
Yeah, that's.
the original
that's a good
plan was 6 Explorers, 1 Tahoe.
And I'll get more
I emailed
information.
So you guys would front us the money.
I'm trying to offer a
to
compromise.
purchase the 1 Tahoe.
Well, I'm a little bit lost. You're saying that you gotta put the equipment in these Explorers, and you're buying the Tahoes, and you don't have to put it in the Tahoes, correct?
Not as much, not as much.
Well, why would you not put it in the Explorers? Just leave it on the Explorers and let the detective
Well,
have it without?
You gotta have screens for the.
Why?
He's
He's not going to these
Those are
Tahoes.
those are 2 different proposals. I
Tahoe
think,
is for the
right?
detectives. The Explorer
I
for
can
the
do
road
that,
deputies.
Keith, and I can say the same or somewhat the same. The catch is, they're not making it. The equipment that goes in it, they're not even making it. They don't even, the outfitters, that's what started this. They don't even have a cage made for the Ford Explorer. The light bar, the roof is as wide as an Expedition.
I told him to get one of those kind that Barney had on top of it. Just that single little light go round and around.
So
That's
what I call gimmicks, and that's what they're doing. Every 4 years, 3 to 4 years, they're remaking a vehicle, changing the body style, changing this. It's for all these other companies to have a pot in the cookie jar where they're getting their pot by changing the cage. Crown Vic never changed. When Joe took the stuff off of it, we put it in a brand-new Crown Vic. We never bought other equipment. Am I correct, Joe?
Yeah, we're filling up the senior citizens building you were talking about.
With old stuff.
Well, it's
We
not
never-
really old stuff. I
Well,
mean, it's
3 to 4 years old.
And it's not gonna be usable on anything else. So,
You can't surplus it?
well, if y'all give me, okay, I'll eBay it.
Yeah. I'm confused. I mean, why wouldn't the same issue be with the Tahoe on equipment as it would be for the Explorer?
All right, let me interject if I can. The Explorers are built heavy-duty brake system, heavy-duty everything for the road police officer, the road deputy. If he needs to go off-road, if he needs to go in pursuit, they have the heavy-duty stuff to do that on these police package Explorers. They're also pre-wired for the aftermarket or the upfitter, that they just tap into a wiring system that's there provided. The Secret Service Tahoe that Raymond's referring to is got basic aftermarket wiring for undercover type equipment, not like bars, not cages, and it doesn't have the heavy duty braking system, the skid plates underneath, things of that nature that the Explorer or the police package would have. So that vehicle can be equipped for about half of what the Explorer can be equipped.
But those would just be detective vehicles. Are we
Right.
proposing that we get rid of the Explorer?
No. Plan A, I'm going to recommend the court, if you would, focus here on what he's proposed. Plan A is basically what we talked about doing initially.
Back in March.
Back at, and I've ordered the Explorers, and then the one Tahoe for the detective.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
And we're just talking about it.
Second by Jeff. And further discussion?
Yes.
It's just a loan, it's a loan that he's gonna repay.
Oh, we've done the sheriff's department, we've advanced the
Right.
sheriff's department money in the past. Several times. Mike, Newton, several times. They just get low on revenue.
You're just suggesting that we do exactly what we said we were gonna do before?
Exactly.
Okay, that's.
Yeah.
Well, the one Tahoe was added, wasn't it?
It's getting a detective car.
You just need it done before.
That's our initial proposal.
I think we need to find out exactly when these Explorers in writing are going to be
Okay.
manufactured.
Well, that's different.
And then I will get that, but if it's 30
I'm
days
not
or 60
sure.
days. You know,
Judge, I'm
it's-
not sure you can get that in writing. I mean, Nicholas,
We're not gonna get it right.
Nicholas can tell you what the projection is.
Once he
And
gets a
he's
VIN
told you
number.
the same that he's told me. that
Once he gets a VIN number, though, he said he can
Once
give
he
it.
gets a VIN number, then you're 4 to 6 weeks on production line.
And what the big deal?
And then
You know,
2
we
weeks.
He's
survived
got
100
30
years ago.
vehicles and 17 road officers. I don't understand.
Yeah, you might
what
just
the
have to
problem
pick one
is,
up.
really.
Yeah.
The problem is that.
We can address that, we can address that later, right?
Let's go ahead and go.
The motion's been made, and second.
I'd like to know what he said the problem is.
I'm struggling with vehicles. I got a vehicle that went to Conway Heaton for a water pump that was $3,000. We're starting to hit vehicles with maintenance. I got another one that's coming in, and that's fine.
That's just part of doing business.
Well, I'm trying to save money, but if you guys want to continue nickel and dime, we can go ahead and do that.
I'm a pretty good nickel and dimer.
And that's
Yeah.
fine, we'll go that route. I got another vehicle that's getting ready to get another $2,000 to $3,000, and it's gonna go to Conway Heaton.
Well, that's a different issue than what we're talking about, isn't it? The
No, it's
maintenance?
not. I'm down vehicles, guys.
Well, you also got people take vehicles home that are not patrol deputies either.
Everybody does that.
I understand.
You go look at next door, they got the command staff that goes to Louisville.
I understand.
Yeah, but we're up here to protect taxpayers' dollars as best as we can.
I get
I
that,
really
kid.
took a lot of grief over the 2 Tahoes down at the place. And of course, when they see you
Give
riding
me
down the road,
give me 5 names of your constituents that gave you grief.
They wouldn't want you to do
Yeah,
that. That wouldn't be no good
Then
idea.
it's,
look, when you're
But I
driving down
could
the
give you
road,
more than that.
they
Oh, I
see
got one for you, but-
You got more than that over there.
Okay.
Go planning.
All approve, say aye. Disapprove,
Abstain.
motion carries. One abstention.
Which is
What's-
Gary.
Look, Gary.
Maybe I'm sorry, what is turnaround time on getting a Tahoe?
right now, I can go today and come back with 3 Tahoes today.
You're gonna get one, and we'll get that processed, because we're going to advance you the money. Okay?
To answer your question today. Okay.
They're on the line.
Police package for the road, it'd be next month. September, October, they would have 200 on the lot.
Jail report.
Total of this morning, we had 140 inmates, 53 of them were state, 87 were county, 56 of them were for circuit court trial, 31 were waiting for district court, 107 of them were bail, and 33 were female.
Any questions for the jailer? Any comment on our meeting yesterday?
We did look through applications.
Okay. Recreation report. You asked the court to consider doing another backstop. We've done 2 in previous years. You guys have the pictures.
Does anybody need the packet?
Those pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically concrete blocks that you got. Small one.
Keith, I think you looked at it last time, probably the block that was used wasn't necessarily the block that should have been used.
That's correct.
That's what you told me.
They used a cinder block on it, and then it absorbed more water than the concrete block.
So what we have issues
But back at
with.
the time, it was probably the cheapest,
Yeah.
and that's to be the wheel that broke it.
And that's what was on field 3 and 4, original 2, and like holes started like coming in, like baseballs and softballs go through it and,
So this would be the 3rd field that we've done. We agreed years ago to do them gradually as we progress. We're doing the professional way.
Are the prices comparable to when you did the last one?
Well, what you're gonna find, I can speak on that because Bryce wasn't here at the time. This field is twice the size of the other one, so the price should be about twice as much, and it's about that. So when you say comparable, yes, but you gotta look at it in scale, because this is a 300-foot field, where the other ones were 200-foot fields. So the backside is longer, wider.
Taller.
If we don't do something, we're gonna be replacing that concrete block.
It's in the budget.
I hate for it to happen right in the middle of the season.
This is in the budget.
Well, what are you proposing to do? Digging down to the footer and putting, for the, climbing the brick ledge and bricking it?
On the inside, yes.
That's what we've done.
We originally
already.
designed it that way.
We're putting a new cap
And just on one side?
No,
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 both sides.
all the way around.
comes up and over.
Yeah.
It comes on the front side, then on the side where there's asphalt area, they'll, actually on this particular project, they're gonna use channel.
So is a brick supposed to be more durable than what that cinder block would be as far as taking, wouldn't it seem like me to be a bit more fragile than concrete?
Barstown and Nelson County both have done their field like that.
Look at the brick on your house.
I don't have brick.
I guess you.
Brick on anybody's house, it lasts a pretty long time.
What
It
they-
does
what
unless
they
it's
did on
got
the
balls
backside-
thrown at it, you know.
Yeah.
Where the backside of the balls get by, they put pad.
Wrigley Field's not like that.
So
Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Pad that goes on the back.
Are those bricks?
I'll probably try to get a bigger one, honestly.
So,
And then the bricks are sealed with sealant?
is this the guy that did the last,
That'll be it.
did he do the last 2 backstops?
No.
It's a different guy?
Yeah.
Who else priced it?
David Cook did one of those years ago, but he's out of business. He's not doing the business.
Who are the other guys?
It was Matthew Cooper and Cirillo Alvarez.
On these, below the $20,000, so you can get professional quotes on it.
Last name Walker Masonry, Joe Walker, yeah.
What was his? I mean,
A lot more than.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Well, yeah, so 35,775.
I don't
But
think he
his
gave you
was-
that purposely. It was just.
Yeah, his was, he messed up on,
He does good work.
well, he messed up on some math, and me and Brad, I called him back and was like, I don't think this was right, not saying you're trying to, put a fast one on me or anything, but he came back and was like, yeah, my math was wrong, I'll get you a new quote, and he hasn't done so, and that was, I've been working on this or longer, yeah.
Okay, so these masonaries, you got their names from the
Lee Brick and Block.
Lee Brick and Block, the people that typically do business with those folks here locally.
Yeah, they gave me a.
So which one of these are you recommending?
I like Cooper.
Cooper?
Yeah, and that's, he's a little bit more, but it was close.
It's $18 difference.
I mean, you know, and he's local too.
Is that the Pyramid Masonry?
Yes.
You said Cooper.
Yeah.
Pyramid.
Yeah. Pyramid, yeah.
Speaking on the reputation of the board,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept who Bryce chooses to.
Pyramid. For a second?
Is that pretty much in second?
Second,
I'm sorry, now discussion. Is that pretty much in line with how much you guys paid for that last two backstops?
I think about 9 or 10,000, that was not near the size.
Is that the labor or that was labor?
That's everything, that's everything.
And that, yeah.
I mean, it's much.
I think we had the same conversation
with.
with Wickland Fiddlers.
I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either. Yeah, I think it sounds high.
Oh, I do too, but I'm not out there laying them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well.
It's a trade that, there are a minimum amount of people in that trade anymore. You have some of the house builders around getting masonry people to do their brick and rock
When I
work.
was calling these guys too, like it would be, I mean, I've been doing this trying to get this together for a while, and they couldn't come like the next day or that week. They would have to like schedule around and, you know,
On a rainy day is when they usually.
yeah, pretty much, exactly. Or after work hours.
Motion's been on the floor in a second. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye. Disapprove? Motion carries then. I didn't get no, there was no vote down the table.
It's a high for me, but it just seems a bit high, but if, I mean, it looks like to me you've done your research on it, so I mean, it is what it is, right?
Supply and demand too.
It is what it is.
Oh, yeah, everybody's busy right now, or, you know.
It is what it is.
You know, the
hard.
state's letting all these bridges out now. They're done, what, Brad, 1,000 bridges?
1,000, I think they let like 500.
400 or 500 this year. And a lot of other contractors are looking for, even the state's looking for people to do work for them, and all these people busy.
Hornback went out of business, they're considered getting back in business. Just because of the demand.
I don't blame them.
Road Department report.
Let's start with the report first.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the regular report, then we're gonna do a resolution too, before we go into, go ahead.
We finished up replacing that cross drain on Bryce Creek Lane. Job went real smooth, turned out really well for us.
Beautiful job.
It's a real good job. We've been replacing more culverts on roads that are, I guess, budgeted to be overlaid. We just replaced two pipes on Hardin Leslie Road, 3 on Mary Jo Boulevard, and we'll continue to replace culverts on other roads that we'd like to get POs issued to Mago for. We repaired a shoulder on Simpson Road. It turned out to be a decent sized job.
Which road?
Simpson Road.
Is it Simpson Creek? or
Simpson Creek.
Simpson?
No, Simpson Road. It's off Ashes Creek Road there.
Okay.
In Bloomfield.
Just a little creek just keeps eating into the road.
So basically, put some channel lining in.
I did see it, I saw pictures.
Concrete over top of that.
It looks good too.
It should last a good while.
Yeah, it's a good.
We chip sealed Cornish Lane.
Great. Great.
Bad news with Cornish Lane is our oil distributor truck broke down, and we had to rebuild the engine. So we're currently waiting. I'm anticipating at least 3 weeks to finish that rebuild on that engine before we can start patching asphalt. And I think we have one road left to chip seal.
That's our 1975 Ford truck, or 85. It's pretty old.
Might be a 90s model, but it's
Yeah.
an old truck. I think it's that cheaper than new.
Oh, yeah.
So did you get it completed, Lee? Is
Cornish is done.
It's done.
Cornish is done.
Thank you.
And Mago was able to transfer the oil off our broke down truck, and they was able to install this oil for us. So I really, they
did us a big favor.
It did a huge favor, got us out of a bind on that, so. That's about it.
Do y'all replace those engines in-house? Your mechanic do all that?
We pull them, we send them out, getting rebuilt by Jasper Engine.
Gotcha.
Got a 2-year warranty on it when we get it back. $8,000, is that right, Nick? Roughly?
In that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think a little less than that, maybe.
The diesel or gas?
Diesel.
Yes.
Oh, it's a diesel. the diesel.
That was one of the trucks we bought from the state or somebody, didn't it?
Could have, and that was early in my career, y'all switched the distributor over. So that's,
We had an older model now.
that's 20, the distributor itself is older than that, the old
The
distributor.
distributor itself, yeah. this
We took it off the
chassis.
old truck, put it on the new one y'all bought, and that's 20 years ago.
It wasn't the new truck we bought either.
No.
No, not brand new.
I guess that's.
It
what-
does fine, for what we need, it does fine. For what we need.
I guess that's what blows my mind, that wall costing that much money, $9,000, you get a new engine put in that truck. You know?
That was $3,000 of oil that was sitting on that truck.
That's a good deal, man.
And it would have kicked up a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good deal, yeah.
Okay. You guys have a resolution in your mail. I don't know if you picked up your mail in regards to some discretionary money that applied for, that helps two districts. And I don't want to look at y'all in the eye now, because I already got the evil eye from a magistrate or two.
Better bring Ed Gurney back in here.
This affects District 4 and 5, Murray's Run Road, $200,350. Need a motion to approve the resolution and authorize me to sign the documents related to that resolution. Now, if nobody don't want to make that motion, I'm sure Washington County, Marion County like to have it.
I will make them with that motion.
I will second
Take
it.
y'all's time now, think about it.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion carried.
Who's second? 4 and 5
Second
are
with
welcome.
Jeff.
4 and 5 are welcome.
I want to get that done before we...
All you gotta do is ride over, and you'll be ready to put
So
some.
for the public and you magistrates, what that effectively did is between last year's money that came out of District 5, between that discretionary money and then additional monies Jeff and Eric put together, that whole road's been paid from one end to the other.
We share that road with you on one side.
It's about-
It helps out two districts.
Oh, man, it's long.
Yeah, it was not.
It's about 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah, it's one of our longer ones that we have.
That's it.
Yeah, it is, it is.
So it's always perfect.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's always pretty good. Sure does.
In District 2, the state did 605 Woodlawn Road, Poplar Flat. They did a great job on that.
It looked good. They needed it bad too.
Did they do that little brown lane that you'd asked for?
Not yet.
Yeah.
They really needed it.
They did.
Are they gonna change the surface right there on the S curves? I know they took that out.
We've asked for that, but to be placed back.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the contract.
You talk about,
If they can do the top of the other side,
you talk about where it won't slide.
behind my
Slippery.
house.
Yeah.
That and that curve you're talking about that wasn't done last time, and out by the meadows on out.
There's a couple of places.
Yeah.
They're
supposed to do
much
that.
like us, funding is always an
They're
issue.
supposed to do it, so they're out there now doing the sides of it. They're redoing the sides where it's a big drop off.
This morning.
Yeah, so they've done a great job.
Judge, you know when they're gonna do Stephen Foster, he had mentioned pave some of that.
I don't know. But I'll try to check on and email you guys.
They are doing 62 from Bellwood Road back to the airport. They started this morning.
From where? From Bellwood?
Bellwood back to the airport.
Back to the airport.
Real quick question, since we're on that, is there any way we can put a bug in there about Bloomfield to Bardstown? Because that road is terrible,
I can check on it.
if you don't care.
Be next year now, well.
A lot of these roads are like us. They have to program them.
Everybody's getting used to riding in the middle of it
getting
anyways.
bad.
That's not very, I'm not going that way
I'm
then.
telling you, it's bad.
Bloomfield Road.
Go look at Bellwood Road, I guess back.
Bellwood,
That's a state road?
Yeah.
733 is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's go to the asphalt measuring report.
I was on Bloomfield Road yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I'll start it out. For the media up here and the folks out there in the audience, there has been long discussions, even being editorials in the paper from, and Randy's done a left, darn it. That's right. Editorials in the paper about we need to rethink the way we're doing blacktopping based on some comments made by previous magistrates and current magistrates. And so we rode the roads, had a couple of fellows go out and rode the roads and measured the widths of the roads on every county road. I think if had a mistake or two in a district or two, we've gone back and redone those. But the report is in front of you in a little larger print, and I've got a smaller copy for you. You got? Did I put it back on you? Okay. So there's always been a long discussion about mileage versus square footage. A guy like Keith has a lot of miles, but guy like Gary's got a lot of subdivisions, wider roads. Subdivisions are anywhere usually from 22 to 26 feet. The old ones are 26. I believe Maywood, some of them are 26. Woodlawn Springs the same, I think, on part of it. As you can see, the percentages are based on square footage, and the dollars spent are relatively close.
What do you mean by dollars spent is relatively close?
Well, you have 19.2% of the square footage on blacktop,
Okay.
and we spent 18.9%. That's 0.3 of a point difference. That's one road, maybe blacktop, or half a road blacktop.
You spent what now?
We spent 18.9% of the total money.
Okay, which is 1,460,000.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to intervene a little bit here if you don't
I would
mind.
be disappointed if you hadn't.
District 5,
Don't be picking on me.
no hard pun there, but 20.7,
He got 2% more of the money.
1.7,
2% more.
And
340.
now listen, let me interject something. Let me interject something here,
I've been waiting for this
because
day.
although that may be true, yeah, I may have gotten 1% or 2% more. If you ride over and look at my roads, if you take the agricultural equipment as opposed to a subdivision road, you're not getting near the traffic and near the weight on it as you are in most of my districts, putting all those commercial trucks on it and all those combines and stuff like that. So I can see where if you're running triage and the roads, you're applying this discretionary money, I can see where that number should probably be elevated a little bit more, if you want to know what I think about it.
I think we all need elevated more.
I can't disagree.
I just want to fair, I don't mean no hard intent.
No, I understand, and
No
that's
masters up here.
right, that's right.
I want them roads safe for Raymond to run down the road.
Sure,
Hey,
sure.
there's
I want
none of
them
our roads
roads,
that bad.
not just in my district, in
Right,
everybody's
absolutely,
district.
sure.
You know, it's tough to be a magistrate anyway, when you get all these phone calls, you know. Everybody thinks we only come to 2 meetings a month and then our job's over.
I can't agree more.
I think every one of you all can contest to that, but that's
Yeah.
not true. And I truly want your road to be the best it can for Raymond Road. I don't want nothing to happen to his deputy, or I don't want nothing to happen to that 18-year-old kid that you're chasing.
Amen.
You know, so I'm not up here in any way. I'm just looking at all these figures, and on every figure, which I've got 10 miles of rock road. A lot more than
10
I would
miles?
love 9 point something.
9.089 miles, so you're exaggerating.
9.08.
You're
If it's over 9, it's 10 to me.
If it's
Every district,
over 9, it's 10.
every district has rock and gravel roads.
Yeah, but not 9 miles. Read the mileage out.
9 for you.
Let me do it, because I know what the exact numbers are.
9,
No, District 1, we had to change that thing.
okay.
You've got 8.264 miles.
That's right, we just-
Chip seal rock.
8.264.
District 2, 2.471.
And that's getting down to the.
District 3,
Yeah.
2.481. District 4, 3.484. Harrison Fork, congratulations, Jeff. District 5, 7.244.
All I'm saying is every figure that's on these papers, District 1 is last on every one. On the road mileage, on the rock mileage, you can see clearly on this piece of paper here.
You're what now?
Any one of us that got mileage, you know, that's got mileage, I'm 1.4 million, Gary's 1.5 million, Bernard's 1.33 million, District 4's 1.9. I understand y'all got more subdivisions.
They got more square footage.
I understand. Eric and I, we got more miles of road. Subdivisions are engineered by our staff to have the proper drainage. Mine and Eric's road
You
are
made a
1930
statement that was
miles.
not accurate. You
What's
said
that?
you had more mileage than Jeff. It's almost a.
No, I don't have more miles than Jeff.
That's what you said.
Did I? No, I knew I didn't have more miles than Jeff. I'm just saying all my figures.
Jeff and Eric both have as much mileage as you do.
Yeah.
Well,
The system's working pretty good.
It is.
At this dollar figure, look how far I'm behind that. If they've got the same mileage as I do, what about this dollar figure?
Because it's billed by the square foot.
Well, not only that, it's probably,
I mean, it takes money in a pot and then divide it by 5. That's what we did.
that's the way
We've
it
been doing
was.
it.
That'd be 1.54 million.
Look back on the same, Grant, just for the public.
Look at the numbers on there.
That's what we do with the fiscal court's allocations. The state allocations, we place
It's out of
it.
your control.
Well, no.
No. Here's the control.
Well, and look, now.
Here's the control.
In that defense, though, listen.
I'm putting it pretty fair.
I'm telling you, he has managed it, and the reason we're doing that is that Dean is not here to manage that, and let's say another magistrate was to run and get that money.
Each district should have.
Well, he may not decide to put that discretionary money where it needs to go. He may want to put it in his district or whatever. So really, it's just based to try to make it fair, you know.
I don't expect any action today. Everybody absorb what we got here, open for discussions. What the court's afraid of, I think what the court's afraid of, and I've heard this from several people, is that the next county judge may not place the money that way. And do you go to a formula? But when you start doing formulas, you have a magistrate, maybe, and I can honestly say, 2 years ago, Keith's roads weren't super bad, because we had those discussions. And then somebody else's may have been bad, worse, and then that's where that money was sent. Murray's Run's the prime example of 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when Jerry was magistrate. It was embarrassing to drive over.
Grass going through.
Yeah, so we did address things that, again, overall, big picture needs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works now, but it's, I think there should be a policy in place where money's put where it should be, and not just, just when we divide it up equally. I mean, that's not, everybody uses everybody else's roads as well. I mean,
That's correct.
When you buy an ambulance, you buy it for me as well as you do you.
I've been saying it for years, I'd rather just give it all to Brad and let him decide,
Well, politics wouldn't get involved.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that 120%.
Yeah, but if you're paving the roads to get reelected, then that's kind of...
It don't work. I got news for you.
Well, here, I got one more case
I
scenario.
like the idea of letting Brad take care of it.
Well, I don't think we want to put that up.
No, he don't.
I have an idea, but
I don't see wrong with what we're doing.
All right, wait a minute, I got
Let's
one
hear
more.
your idea.
What we're doing is, I mean, it's worked out fairly well, but
All right.
say we're not all gonna be here.
But the 120,000 you get as base, with the price of blacktop, you're barely, if that's all you had,
Do one road.
every magistrate needs 120,000 just to cover their Bernard's got the lowest district, so let's pick on him a little bit, on mileage. 120 barely covers you this year.
That's true.
Now, 2 or 3 years previously, you were able to accumulate enough money to do some longer roads. But there's going to come a time of reckoning that 120 is not going to be enough for you.
That's true.
If it keeps going up.
The total amount can be adjusted at any time, right? I mean, but the percentages.
Yeah, but total amount available.
Right here.
Now, if we want to cut some other things and put some more money in blacktop, we can do that too.
Sorry, can't get that Tahoe, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not getting it anyway.
Oh, you get a Tahoe.
You know what? Now, come on.
All right, I want to let the media know something else if I can have time. District 1 in the last 6 years has got $499 million in state funding. District 1.
Hold
As you-
on.
What's that?
How much?
State funds.
No, you said 499 million. 499,000.
$1,000.
I'll tell you millions.
All
You got a
right.
decimal there, you need glasses.
Let me finish my point here. $500,000, District 1 in state funds. District 2 in state funds, that's less than my mileage,
But more in square foot.
$660,000. District 4, which me and him was real even on mileage, 100, and, no, that's the judges.
That's county money. This is state
I know,
money you're talking
I'm
about.
state money, I'm on state money. District 5
Is this rural secondary programs?
in state
You didn't say
funds,
4?
$585,000.
This is,
As again, District 1's got the same amount of roads as there, he just said it a while ago. And I understand if it
but
needs
you're talking about
it.
state roads.
No, I'm not talking about state roads.
he's talking about state funding.
State funds,
funds.
okay, the state funds, okay.
I'm last again.
Well, I tell you what, and this is gonna be a testament to what a good magistrate he is. And you can ride over on his secondary, county roads over, and I'm telling you, they're in good shape. Now, if you take the Pepsi Challenge and come on over in District 5, you gonna ride my roads and you would jump up and down by the way that they're maintaining. And I don't know why that's the way that it is with these numbers.
Blacktop don't last as long as it did. I mean, I've got a road, Ox County Road, it's 20 years old, ain't been paved in 20 years.
We widened it when we paved it. Enjoy it.
20 years, and it's lasted 20 years. I did a road 7 years ago.
I'd like
and
to
it's
see
falling
what
apart.
Brad thought was the worst road district. No,
I like to see Brad's ideal. Would you like to try your
I'm just saying, it's hard to get fair.
I agree.
It's hard to get fair.
Let's hear our engineer's ideal.
Reality, I know you all are going to get a certain amount of money. And then there should be a pot of money above and beyond that. You all get your same dollar amount, 120, 120, 120, whatever. Then there's an additional money, you can call it judge discretionary money, county engineer's money, whatever, that we place it where it's deemed necessary. And that's kind of what's happened, in all honesty, with state funding as it's came down. The calls I would get, and I could...
Tell them when I call you, ask him. I said, give it Keith and see if he's got a real second.
Right, and he'll pick which ones we kind of know.
Yeah, same way.
Because I know the square footage is more in
It comes
certain
from you
ones.
guys, it don't come.
Right.
I've got a few I'd like to do.
But,
I know.
but that being
You do
said,
good. You do good.
yeah, but that being said, this court isn't always going to be here. And so I understand, and I hear it from every one of you, it's not today's worry, it's 3 years from now's worry.
Right.
And what y'all decide to do.
But it doesn't matter what you do, because the next court, next judge can change it.
We got-
Yeah,
hey, most
yeah.
definitely could.
One motion can change.
But if you set it up for the next generation, then, you know, they'll have to squabble over that.
It'd be one vote, and it's done. Well, the magistrates can redo it like that.
The data's valuable anyway.
The data's very
The
valuable.
data is valuable, yeah. And I appreciate you doing it, really.
Well,
I was hoping
I got
to
a
come
big
out a
kick
little
out.
higher on that, but
I think it's ideal, Brad. Great idea.
it's kind of what we're doing
That's what
now.
we're doing.
right?
But you can't put it all on me.
No.
Because I understand, not me, the county engineer.
Right.
Because I understand how all this works. And I would have one of you really mad if I only went to Eric's district.
Right.
Or to Jeff's district. I understand that.
So what you're saying is, if you do that, then we just make sure we don't put the worst road in our district on the list. right?
And I would ask for my appointment to be longer than 2 years.
And by the way, we are, and next year, we will do the census. And once the census come in, we will be doing the reapportionment that they call of the population. And that, this will be my third one, and that will require some roads to be lost and gained within the districts.
But you got the data in place now, and it's just a matter of changing the number on a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
which district goes to.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be hard to
Yeah.
do anything.
Which really, the emphasis on that census, I just hope everybody, because I know a lot of folks that don't really care to participate in the census, but it's so important when allocating tax dollars.
Absolutely.
And I just hope that the public knows that how important that really is for the county. as
The
well.
media needs to get that out into the public.
Absolutely.
They will. Actually, the census will be doing some local advertising.
We need that.
We need that from.
And again, District 2 and District 4 have shared in the highest growth of population. It's very obvious by the development. Corman's Crossing out this way, and the subdivisions over there in your district.
So Eric, I don't know if you know, so there's got to be a 10%, there can't be no more than 10% population between one district. The top
That's
one.
5%, I think, Brad.
I think it's 5 jump from one to the next, and I think it's 10%.
From the high to low?
lowest.
Okay, yeah.
And you
Okay, that
can't
might-
have more than a 5% jump from one to number 2. You know, you can't have 4 guys down here and one way up here. They all gotta be a mess.
Yeah, you may
I remember I
listen.
went through it with them the last time.
Yeah, that's when I lost
It's
some.
painful to go through.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on because we've got a magistrate needs to leave in a few minutes. Chip seal, that's the same principle there. We'll move on. It's not that, everybody knows what they've got. Hey, all right.
Yeah, but I'm like an old guy told me the other day, he said, you know, you can complain for 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes, but he said you could complain for 2.
Give
And
a
then,
solution.
and the other 8 minutes,
I like
tell me
that.
how you're gonna fix it.
How you gonna fix it?
I just think there's a little bit of problem in these roads. And like I say, I understand, I want Eric to have the best roads, I want Barnard, for them people.
Oh,
For your school bus.
I think everybody agrees with
Yeah,
that.
for everybody. It's just, like Jeff said, when you do the data, it's by no way. I'll give each one of you a copy of my data. It's not.
Just take the Pepsi challenge, man.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bet you $25 to $1 I got a road worse than you got right now.
What do you think, Brad? Should I
No,
take
don't
that?
ask Brad. I think.
I bet you don't.
Okay, Pepsi challenge.
It's on. It's on.
And guys, please go
Under
through
old and new business.
Please go through those lists. Any changes, please let me know. If you see something that's odd, we're here to
I
make
looked
it
at
fair.
But I didn't see any.
I do have a request for the court, if you would allow me, some serious business here. Under old new business, Matthew and I have been working with Bardstown Bourbon Company. They're doing some additional financing for their distillery. They're actually talking about a visitor center and a few other things along the way, even some lodging somewhere along the line. And in doing so, they've asked us to do a subordination agreement on the existing bonds. You know, court issued IRBs. So what I'm asking the court to do, we don't have the documents to give you, but I'm asking the court to authorize me to sign a subordination agreement, just so you don't know what a subordination agreement is. It's basically when you've got a loan and then somebody else is loaning you money and then you put your money down to be second versus the new financing will be first. Did I explain that right, Matthew? So I'm asking you to authorize me to subordinate the bonds for Bardstown Bourbon Company. And we've been working, Matthew told me we've been working for about a week.
I don't see any exposure in the county. Of course, on the IRBs, the county can't be held responsible anyway. I mean, it's just it's facilitating the expansion. We just, behind the scenes, we're trying to make sure that doing that doesn't impact the IRB in any way, but it doesn't expose the county to anything.
But subordination is you're giving way to another lender.
Right.
And the Bardstown Bourbon Company is fully aware of that. If you've done business before, you bought a home or getting a refinancing, you've done one of those.
There's
somebody has.
IRBs that, Bardstown Bourbon Company basically buys its own bonds back anyway. So it's,
They invested their own money. So I'm asking the court to authorize me to sign the subordination agreement on behalf of, we are a title holder because of the IRBs, and my signature is required for a subordination agreement.
How much money are you talking about?
About 35 to 40 million. Just pocket change.
Pretty good inspection.
But that's, we've done it before in years past.
We didn't do that much target.
Yeah, that's about that. Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the subordination, all we are doing, the county of Nelson, is we're recognizing what they're doing. That's all for lack of better terms.
Need a motion?
I need a motion.
Make a motion.
So motion's been made by Bernard Ice, second by Gary, I guess. Both of you did at the same time. Further discussion? All approved, say aye. Disapprove? Motion carries. It will save them a couple of weeks, and they're trying to get this pinned down, because Matthew, over the weekend, has been working on it. So you find these banks and companies, I don't know if you've ever done a closing or not, it's 10th hour, 4 midnight strikes, that kind of deal, but pretty routine. Any other business, guys? Good court meeting. Thanks, Joe, for the presentation.
Real quick, we got some sad news to report this morning. We lost a great public servant, and one of our chaplain members, Carl Luz, passed away this morning.
Yeah.
Please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers.
Carl was that character. God bless him.
Good guy.
He's a good guy. Thank you. I had that in my pocket, but I was a little bit like you. I might get choked up trying to say it.
I knew he was real sick.
Yeah. Motion to adjourn? Motion been made to adjourn by Jeff. Second? Second by Eric. All approved, say aye. Thank you all. Motion carries. Good night.